guys, welcome back. I hope you had a good vacation. Today we're going to be doing the absolute value inequalities. This is page 204. So just like when we did equations with absolute value, we have to do absolute value with inequalities. So an inequality, I'll remind you, is when it says less than and equal to or greater than equal to. So this says the absolute value of x is less than 3. We could put in numbers like 2, 1. 2 would work. The absolute value of 2 is 2. 2 is less than 3. 1 would work. What about negative 1? The absolute value of negative 1 is 1, and 1 is less than 3. So there are several types of numbers that are going to work. So we have to take both situations into account. So if x is positive and if x is negative. So if x is positive, we're going to do 2 inequalities. X is positive in this case, and in this case, x is negative. All right, so this one happens to already be solved, but this one is not solved yet. So what do we do to solve it? We're going to divide by a -1 or multiply by a -1. Don't forget when you divide or multiply by a negative, you're going to flip the sign. That's right. So x is greater than -3, okay? Now, you have something that's less than x, and you have x less than something, all right? So when you have a number that's less than x, and then you have x is less than this number, that means x is in the middle. So the way to write the final answer is you're going to put it like this, because -3 is less than x, and x is less than 3. So it's actually one statement. You can see -3 is less than x is less than 3. Let's throw some numbers that might work. Let's see if, does 2 work? 2 is in between these two. 2 works. How about -2? -2, that pulls out to be 2 is less than 3, so that would work. Let's try -4. -4 is not included in here. So -4, if you take the absolute value of 4, 4 is less than 3, that's not going to work. If we hadn't flipped the sign and said that x is less than -3, then that would mean everything down here we were saying would work in there, and we can see that it doesn't. So that's why you have to follow the same rules and flip the sign. Let's do x is less than 5, okay? So we're going to do x is less than 5, and then -x is less than 5. So x is less than 5 stays the same. We're going to divide by a negative again. Flip the sign, don't forget to do that. X is greater than -5. So I see -5 is less than x. X is less than 5. Again, if something's less than x and x is less than something, you can write -5 is less than x is less than 5, and that would be your answer. Okay? How would I graph that? I would find -5. Would it be opened or closed? Caitlin, would this be opened or closed circle? Open, correct. And then 5 would be here. Again, it's open, and you would color in between. So x is somewhere in between there. The final absolute value of x is greater than 1. We're going to do x is greater than 1, and -x is greater than 1. X is greater than 1 stays the same. This one you're going to divide by a negative, and you're going to get x, you have to flip the sign, is less than -1. Okay, let's look at this one. X is less than -1, so it's going to be that side of your graph. X is greater than 1. So I'm going to graph it first, and then I'm going to show you what the final way to write the answer is. If x is less than -1, you've got -1 here, you're going that way. If x is greater than 1, you've got 1 here, you're going that way. So the answer to this one is x is greater than 1. Actually, I should have put this one first. You do the x is less than first. X is less than -1, or x is greater than 1. It's not an and because we're not